What happens when a quarterback with a famous last name, a chip on his shoulder, and a world of expectations lands in one of the most unpredictable quarterback rooms in the league? That's exactly the question surrounding Shedeur Sanders, the rookie sensation drafted late by the Cleveland Browns, as the team dives deep into training camp ahead of what promises to be a chaotic 2025 NFL season. While quarterback competitions during the offseason are nothing new, the current scenario the Browns are facing is truly extraordinary. With 4 quarterbacks in the mix, including veteran additions like Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, and a pair of promising rookies in Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, the road to naming a starter is more uncertain than ever. Cleveland's decision to take Gabriel with the 94th overall pick already made headlines, a calculated move to inject youth and explosiveness into the roster. But the real shock came much later. In a dramatic and unexpected slide that captured national attention, Shedeur Sanders, a name many believed would be called in the first round, waited until the 5th. It was at pick 144 when his NFL journey finally began. Many fans and analysts alike were stunned. How did the son of Deion Sanders, a player who had dominated college football conversations and brought a spotlight wherever he went, fall so far? Whether it was concerns about his personality, his system, or perhaps just the overwhelming depth of this year's quarterback class, the slide was brutal. But from the moment Shedeur arrived in Cleveland, the only thing he seemed interested in was proving everyone wrong. Over the summer, Shedeur has done more than just show up. He's worked, and he's worked hard. From rookie camp to OTAs and into minicamp, Sanders has refused to coast on reputation or name recognition. Instead, he's been grinding to earn every snap and every opportunity. The Browns coaching staff has taken notice, but no one's voice carries more weight than head coach Kevin Stefanski, and recently, Stfansky gave one of his most candid assessments yet of Shedeur's development. Through the first 3 days of training camp, Stfansky has seen growth, not just in performance, but in focus and approach. Speaking after the 3rd day, Stfansky praised Sanders' discipline and dedication, describing him as a player who keeps the main thing the main thing. That simple phrase speaks volumes. It means that in a world full of distractions, with cameras, critics, and comparisons constantly swirling, Shedeur has been able to narrow his focus and put in the work where it matters most. In the building, in the meeting rooms, in the weight room, and especially out on the field. These are not just hollow compliments. Coming from Stfansky, a 2-time Coach of the Year, these words suggest a genuine belief that Sanders is more than just a name. He's a serious competitor. Of course, there were questions before the draft. Thanks to his confident, sometimes flashy demeanor in college and during the pre-draft process, many around the league wondered whether Shedeur's mindset would fit into a professional locker room. But if Stefansky's tone is any indication, those concerns may now be fading into the background. He emphasized how Shedeur has been keeping his focus exactly where it needs to be, showing maturity that perhaps wasn't expected of a 5th-round rookie thrust into a high-pressure environment. What makes this story even more compelling is that Stfansky hasn't named a starter yet, leaving the door wide open. And with names like Dan Orlovsky already suggesting that the Browns should build around their young talent, specifically pointing to either Shedeur Sanders or Gabriel as future QB1 material, the pressure is now on Stfansky to make a bold decision. It's not just about who has the better arm or the more polished resume, it's about who shows up, who leads, and who earns it. And so far, Shedeur seems to be checking all the right boxes. Now with the rest of training camp and the preseason games ahead, the stakes couldn't be higher. Every rep, every throw, and every moment is being watched, analyzed, and debated. Can Shedeur Sanders continue his upward climb and shake off the shadows of his draft day slide? Will he convince not just Stfansky, but his teammates in the city of Cleveland that he's ready to lead? Only time will tell. But one thing's for certain, this is no longer just about legacy or hype. This is about performance, heart, and determination. So if you've been sleeping on Shedeur Sanders, it might be time to wake up, because the fire inside him, the focus he's showing, and the words of praise from his head coach all point to a rookie who is not just here to compete, but to conquer. The Browns may just have found their diamond in the rough, and if he keeps this up, it won't be long before the rest of the league takes notice. What if the quarterback the Cleveland Browns end up relying on isn't the veteran Joe Flacco, the rookie sensation Shedeur Sanders, or even the comeback hopeful Kenny Pickett? What if the answer lies with someone flying completely under the radar? One Browns insider just dropped a bombshell update on Gabriel's standing in the team's intense quarterback battle, and trust me, it's not what you expected. The Cleveland Browns are entering the new season with a quarterback room so crowded, it's almost easy to forget just how much talent and uncertainty it holds. On one hand, you have Joe Flacco, a former Super Bowl champion and seasoned veteran, the man who last led the Browns to a playoff berth. For many, he feels like the safest pair of hands heading into the 2025 season. Then there's Kenny Pickett, whose career with the Steelers may not have unfolded as hoped, but who now sees a potential rebirth in Cleveland. Both men carry significant NFL experience, and both seem like legitimate candidates to take over as QB1. But here's where things start to get interesting. Shedeur Sanders, despite being selected in the 5th round, has generated more buzz than many first-round picks. With a name that echoes across college football thanks to his father Deion Sanders and an unexpected slide on draft day, Shedeur entered the league with a chip on his shoulder and a spotlight on his every move. Yet while the cameras have followed Shedeur, someone else in Cleveland's quarterback battle has quietly started making serious noise. That man is Gabriel. A 3rd-round pick taken 50 slots ahead of Sanders, Gabriel has been largely ignored by the media and many fans alike. But one Browns analyst is urging everyone to slow down and take notice. Tony Grossi, a longtime insider and team analyst, recently gave a strong assessment of Gabriel's performance, revealing that this quiet competitor is starting to make waves at training camp. Grossi, speaking on ESPN Cleveland's radio show, praised the young quarterback, saying Gabriel has looked significantly better than he did during minicamp. His confidence, precision, and poise have all taken a step forward. And while Grossi isn't ready to crown him the Week 1 starter just yet, he did point out something very telling. He believes Gabriel is now closer in performance to Kenny Pickett than Pickett is to Joe Flacco. That's a major revelation. In a battle that's often seen as Flacco versus Sanders or Pickett, Gabriel is emerging as a dark horse contender. Of course, Grossi also made it clear that Gabriel isn't QB1 right now, but the path is there. He predicted that at some point in the preseason, Gabriel could slide into the number 2 spot, possibly entering September as the top backup behind Flacco. That alone would be a massive win for the young quarterback, especially considering how overshadowed he's been by Sanders' popularity and Pickett's NFL resume. And it's not just Grossi who sees potential in Gabriel. Former quarterback and ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing that Cleveland needs to start thinking long-term. For him, that means moving forward with either Gabriel or Sanders in 2025. The Browns, after all, have to build towards sustainable success, not just bank on one solid veteran year. But while the hype is building, Gabriel still has a long road ahead. His first few days at training camp have showcased both promise and growing pains. Day 1 and 2 saw Gabriel perform with confidence and efficiency. But on day 3, his completion rate dropped to just 50%, a noticeable dip that reminded everyone that development isn't always linear. Even with those ups and downs, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski has remained tight-lipped about the team's quarterback hierarchy, refusing to name a definitive starter. And that silence might be working in Gabriel's favor. With no doors closed yet, Gabriel still has every opportunity to climb the ranks. If he can continue showing flashes of brilliance throughout the remainder of training camp and into the preseason, he could very well find himself entrenched as the Browns' number 2 quarterback come opening week. And if Flacco stumbles or gets sidelined, Gabriel might be the next man up, a scenario that seemed unthinkable just a few weeks ago. So while all eyes have been on Sanders and Pickett, and many assumed Flacco had the starting job locked, don't sleep on Gabriel. The 3rd rounder might just be the underdog who rises above the noise and makes this quarterback battle even more compelling than we imagined. One thing's for certain, this preseason, every snap, every pass, and every decision could rewrite the future of Cleveland's quarterback room. Will Gabriel shock the world and become the Browns' breakout star? Or will Sanders or Pickett reclaim the spotlight before the season kicks off? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss another deep dive into Browns football. This QB race is just heating up, and we're bringing every update straight to your screen. Stay tuned, Browns Nation. The best is yet to come.